Have you ever come away from a conversation with someone and you're just shaking your head like, oh my gosh, what did I say that thing? They probably think I'm just a freak. Or do you ever hold back from doing something like a Facebook Live because you're thinking like, oh, what are they going to think of me? They'll see me doing this thing, putting myself out on Facebook Live, and they'll look at me like I've got 3 heads. Do those things ever go through your mind? I'm Laura Lee Humphreys, and I support coaches and consultants, health and wellness advocates to create a succulent life that you love through home-based business lifestyle. And in this episode of Faces of Freedom TV, then that's what we'll be diving into, is what happens in your head when you have those thoughts about, oh, what are people going to think of me? Or I can't sell, I can't prospect. How do you get beyond all of that chatter about worrying about what other people think of you? All right. So stay tuned and follow to the end. I'll give you some tips and guidelines further that you can use to help get beyond this struggle or this wall of fearing what others think of you. Okay. So when you're doing a home-based business, then it's generally something that is different from your previous work of an employee or what other work you've done before. And so you're becoming a new person. You're doing things that you haven't done before. It's a big learning curve of trying out new skills, new ways of talking to people, learning how to sell, to prospect, to explain to them what you have to offer. That's a lot of getting out of your comfort zone. And it requires you to become a new person. And so in that learning curve of adjusting to this new way of doing things, then it is going to bring up old feelings of confidence, insecurities, self-trust that show up as worrying about what other people think of you. Because it's really about what you think of you. Okay? So just recognize that there's this learning curve of newness that you have to go through. So, and that's normal to feel the awkwardness. However, if you recognize that you've always had this pattern or this concern of, oh, what are they going to think of me? I don't want to do this and this and this that could potentially benefit me because I'm afraid of what others are going to think or how they're going to respond. If that's a long-standing pattern for you, then you really need to address that. And so that's what we'll be talking about today in this episode, because that will stop you from moving forward and becoming the successful entrepreneur that you need to be in order to grow your home-based business. Okay. So think back to how you kind of like what your experience was as a child, because when you were learning new things as a child, that's where we get imprinted about how we're going to respond to other people. So, when a child is learning how to walk, they don't walk on the first try. It takes them a few months sometimes. They fall down 1,000,000 times, and they're always encouraged to get back up. Okay, so that's a positive reinforcement that our parents or caretakers gave us to help us move through into a new thing. The sad part is, oftentimes when you go to school, then everything changes. And we receive a lot of negative reinforcement and criticism when we're trying to learn new things or things don't come easy for us in school. And so we get imprinted in our minds of, oh, I have to be perfect or do things just a certain way to get good grades so the teacher will like me, so friends will like me. And so all of that is still embedded in your mind, your subconscious, in your body mind. And when you now, in present time, start to move out to learn these new things of selling, talking to people, new conversations, everything required to become the entrepreneur that you want to be, then a lot of these old childhood reinforcements or perceptions get triggered. Okay, how you were supported as a child or in younger days to grow into new frontiers will come up. And so it's recognizing that dynamic within yourself and learning to change it, to not fall back into the old default that was imprinted with you as a child that keeps you stuck or makes it difficult to make these changes. Okay, you follow? So understand that that's the dynamic, and with that, we can change the pattern, fortunately, which allows us to grow. So with this video, then I'm giving you a download that you can download for free that has a 6-step exercise that you can follow to help you move past the old imprinting, the old emotional charges and fears about, oh, what are people going to think of me? Okay. So that's a simple 6-step process that I have used a lot. I've encouraged my clients and other friends to use that too, to really help learn new responses and new ways of feeling and being, so that you can then take more strong, confident actions to learn the things you need to do to grow your business. Okay. So another thing too that I want to explain or reiterate with you about feeling the fear of what other people think of you is that that's oftentimes a reflection back to you of how you feel about yourself. If you're not really confident in you and what you're doing, don't have a lot of self-esteem and a strong sense of why you want to do this business, that insecurity or uncertainty will be reflected back. You'll project that out to other people, and then it'll come back to you in your thoughts and feelings of, oh, what are they going to think of me? Or they're going to think I'm like crazy or have 3 heads or something, whatever your mental chatter is. That's just a reflection, a response back to you from the other person, your filters, telling you that there's some inner work and development that needs to happen to create more strength of will, more confidence, more posture of an entrepreneur, of leadership, a stronger stance of surety of doing what you're here to do, and you're sure of it. So that when you go have that conversation with that new person and have that sales conversation or meeting that prospect, then you can feel comfortable with you in explaining to them what you have to offer without getting all wishy-washy, and then they feel all weird, and then the sale just kind of dissolves or it never happens. So confidence is huge in being able to do that successfully. And that's also something that you can use this 6-step exercise for to help you strengthen that. It's in the download that I'm offering you with this video. All right. So when you have a conversation with someone and you get triggered and all your self-chatter about, oh, what are they going to think of me comes up, then I invite you to sit down, take a few minutes and just slow your mind down and look at that conversation and see what you can learn from it. Rather than going into the default and emotional charge of feeling all awkward and icky and worrying about what they think of you, unplug or distance yourself from all that emotional charge so that you can find out what's underneath it. And then you can use that 6-step exercise that I'm giving you in this free download to help neutralize the emotional charge, so that when you have a conversation again with someone and then that old pattern comes up of, oh, they're going to think I'm crazy or I didn't do this and this right, you can monitor yourself over time and see how the emotional charge diminishes and brings you back to neutral. So you can, as you're developing this new habit and pattern of doing things, okay? So this 6-step exercise that I have for you is really helpful in doing that, okay? So get back to this conversation. So you've had this conversation with somebody or you're experiencing this thing with wanting to do a Facebook Live or something, that whatever it is that triggers your chatter about fearing about what other people think of you, use that. So sit down and write. It's like, what was going on? What did they say? What did I feel in response? What did I say in return? How did I think about all of that? So you're wanting to look for themes, for identify issues of things. So I felt fear. I felt uncomfortable. I felt awkward. What is the feeling that you felt? Okay. The second thing you really want to identify is, what is the underlying issue or belief? What is the thought about yourself that's reflected in this conversation that has come up for you, that has become this situation triggered for you? All right. What is that thought that up until now has been subconscious and you're not aware of? Use this dialogue as a means or a reason to help bring the unaware forward into your conscious mind, so you can recognize, oh wow, I really feel or think about this about myself, or I really believe that I can't do this and this and this. You want to learn to identify what those beliefs are about yourself. Once you can identify the belief, then you can work with it to change it. Okay? The degree of entrenchment of that belief, the degree that you believe it, is a corresponding degree to how emotionally charged you are when it comes up in a conversation. Okay? So they kind of go hand in hand. So as you're doing this six-step exercise, say that 3 times fast, in this downloadable guide that I have for you, you can find the button below this video or near this video. So using that 6-step guide or exercise to walk, doing that repeatedly, then you'll be able to notice the emotional charge goes down to neutral as you change this belief about yourself and increase your confidence and courage. So that's why it's so critical to sit back and look at whatever exchanges and conversations you have with people to identify what that belief is so that you can change it from something that most likely was imprinted when you were a child and you got negative reinforcement from people around you that set you up for the fear of what others think of you. Follow? And then you can unravel all that, change that belief that you adopted it about yourself as a child to something more current time of, yes, I can do this. I'm confident. I feel good about myself. I'm capable. I'm getting this learning stuff down. I can learn. I can do new things. Okay. So also in this guide, I have some examples of affirmations that you can tell yourself. You'll want to just also create your own for whatever works for you. But using those affirmations as one of the steps in this 6-step exercise will help you repattern all of this. Okay. So also in this download, I'm giving you a couple of bonuses. So you can use the exercise in there to help repattern yourself, and to make it that much more effective and powerful, you can use what I call my secret weapons, which I'm sharing with you in this guide, and those are the gifts of plants. We can draw upon the benefits that are contained within the plant world, that we consume, that we use in all of its different forms, to help us repattern our body, be able to move through the emotional charge of things, which is really just breaking down emotional molecules that have been stuck in our body, so that you can release that emotional charge and move to neutral. Okay. We can use the gifts of plants to diminish that emotional charge and break down those emotional molecules so the body can release and metabolize them. So I'll introduce that to you in this PDF download. That's my gift for you with this video. And then the second gift or bonus that I also have in this PDF download is another resource of where you can go to learn more productivity tips, as well as things about attraction marketing. So sometimes when we are learning new things, then the fear of what other people think of us and all of this awkwardness and low self-confidence, it's about learning skills. And so when you can have a resource of where to access those skills, as well as the technology and the systems and everything that you need to learn, once you can wrap your head around that and have a place where you can access training, then that really helps you in developing your own confidence and stance and your posture, so that you're more sure of you. And when you're sure of you, when you go to have conversation with people or prospect or have the sales conversations, all that stuff that you need to do to grow your business, you're much more comfortable doing that because you know what you've got your training. Okay. So that's the other bonus that I'm offering you in this PDF download. Okay. So download that, use that 6-step exercise, and let me know how it works for you. I would love to hear from you. So my question to you also is, what things have you done up until now to help move you through the hang up or when you get stuck on what other people think of you? What are your tips and techniques? Okay, because I'd love to hear what works for you, and so that I can also use them myself or even share them with other people and clients and people that I work with. All right. So what did you like best about this video? I'd love to hear your comment, your feedback. So leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel of Faces of Freedom TV, and please share it. Each week then I add a new video like this one, a little training with a resource guide to help you create a succulent life that you love with a home-based business lifestyle. So if you'd like to learn more about what I'm doing, you can also go to my website, lauraleehumphreys.com. Check me out there and subscribe to my website so you can get all the updates of the new things that I'm doing and other trainings as I release them. You can also find me on Facebook. My fan page is Laura Lee Humphreys or Faces of Freedom, right? So I look forward to seeing you there, hearing from you. Pass this around, share it with those that you can, with your friends, and I'll talk to you soon. Till next time.